Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy hump day. We are halfway through the week here. Schuyler Callihan here on Between the Ears. Some good news for West Virginia yesterday. A couple of kids already on the roster, CJ Donaldson and Jacoby Spells, committed to Country Roads Trust, announcing their intentions to remain with the WVU football program for the 2024 season. This is good, huge news, obviously. The one thing I do want to kind of quickly get across here is it's crazy that we're in this time and that things have come to this where we've got to gain recommitments from current players on the roster virtually every single season now. That's just the way it is because of and honestly, as much as kind of annoying as it can be, I actually give Country Roads Trust, I give the players some props by doing this because it kind of lessens that fear of, oh no, is this guy really on board? You know what I mean? So now this doesn't by any stretch of the imagination mean that this commitment to the trust fully guarantees that they'll be here, right? This is not a binding contract. This is not something that if they don't oblige to, that there could be legal action involved, none of that. But that verbal commitment, you would feel and think that, okay, there's been something that's been worked out there where there's NIL opportunities. They feel good about the situation they're in enough to say, you know what, I'm partnering with the trust, AKA I'm staying here at WVU. So that's the first thing. So I understand people getting upset on Facebook and X and all social media platforms say, why are we talking about kids that are already on the team committing to the trust? What's the point in that? To me, that's exactly what I just said. It's alleviating that fear that said player may be entering the portal, may have thoughts of entering the portal. Again, that can change. Get through spring ball. Maybe someone has a bad spring, doesn't really work out. All of a sudden, plans change and they're in the portal. It can happen. But for CJ Donaldson in particular, this is massive. You know, I don't think we can talk enough about the importance that he's going to have on this team in 2024. Everyone just kind of I don't want to say forgot about him, right? But when you have a kid like Jaheim White, a true freshman, just comes in and lights it up in the last month or so of the season, everyone's kind of like falling in love with Jaheim, and I get it. I mean, it's easy as hell to do. I mean, he's a fun player to watch. He's electrifying. Every time he touches the ball, you think something's good's going to happen with it. He brings, I'm not saying the same level of excitement or expectation as a Tavon Austin, but he gives you that same, if you just give him the ball, you just want to sit back and watch it and kind of like hold your breath because you just feel like something big is going to happen. However, that was towards the last month of the season or so. I think his first real action came on in the last game of October against UCF. CJ battled some things down the stretch, obviously the shoulder and some other things along the way. He had some ankle. He got his ankle banged up a few times throughout the year. He hasn't been healthy. And to be honest with you, that is the most impressive thing about CJ through these first 2 years is that it's not impressive that he hasn't been healthy, but it's been impressive the type of production that he has had without being 100%. I mean, this was his first full year where he knew going into the season, he had a full offseason working at running back. He knew that he was going to be playing running back. His true freshman year, he didn't even know until August, until camp started. And they said, you know what, let's throw him at running back, see what happens. So the fact that he's still learning the position, the fact that now teams have already adjusted to him playing the position, it's not a surprise anymore. Because when he played against Pitt, they had no idea what was going to happen. They probably had heard the rumblings that, hey, they got this true freshman kid that converted from tight end to running back, but who the hell? Who the hell is he? What the hell is he going to do? Well, they found out, as did the rest of the Big 12. 2023, he still had those moments. He still had the moments of brilliance. He still had those moments where You could see guys just had very little interest in tackling him. But you saw defenses kind of figure out how to not necessarily stop him, but slow him down. But again, a part of that is due to the injuries. I don't think he was, and I can't speak for CJ, but this is just from my perspective looking at these games week by week. It didn't look like he fully trusted himself. He was playing a little hesitant. He was playing a little unsure. And when you're going through some injuries, whether it be the ankle or the shoulder, probably the shoulder more than even the ankle, because he's such a physical downhill runner, he likes contact. He absorbs it well. He sees it. He seeks it. And when that element is kind of impacted because you're in pain, that's going to change your game. So I really think it's going to be huge for him this offseason to not only get healthy, but stay healthy heading into fall camp. Because if he can put together a full year, and look, he's going to get banged up. That's just how the game is. You're going to go through some nicks and bruises, especially with a guy his size playing the way he does. It's going to happen. But as long as he can avoid the serious injuries or the ones that'll really hinder him from playing at his max potential, this kid's going to light it up. He's going to have an 1,000-yard season. And that's with Jaheim White doing what he's going to be able to do in year 2. So, I think this is the most exciting West Virginia offense going back to, I say, Gino and Tavon and those guys. Will Grier, David Sills, Gary Jennings, hat off to those guys. They were phenomenal. But this offense in particular is going to be better. Now, I sit here and say that on February 7th. A lot of things can change. There's a lot of moving parts to this, obviously. But as I sit here now, February 7th, from what I see on paper, from what we've seen this past season and what I project, this offense with Garrett Green at quarterback, Jaheim White and CJ Donaldson at running back, all the young receivers that they have, Hudson Clement, Traylon Ray, Rodney Gallagher, Preston Fox, Jaden Bray, the Oklahoma State transfer. You got Cole Taylor, receiving tight end, 6'7". Really good offensive line. This is going to be an exciting offense if CJ Donaldson can stay healthy. Jaheim White's going to be a huge part of this. 1,000% will be a huge part of this. And I think everyone kind of saw what he did in those last 4 or 5 games or so, and probably was like, he might be the starting running back heading into next year. I don't really see it that way. And that's not a slight at Jaheim. This is more of recognizing what you have in that backfield. I mean, you got the perfect duo back there. You got lightning and thunder. You got Jaheim White, CJ Donaldson. You've got the perfect duo to just absolutely run right through people. And then you have Garrett Green, who can do things with his legs too. I mean, it's going to be an offense that is going to be exciting to watch. They're going to move the ball constantly. They're going to put points up on the board. They're going to go up and down the field on people. It's going to be fun. But if you take CJ Donaldson out of it, or if he's not 100%, now all that focus gets poured on to Jaheim White. You're going to need another running back to step up, whether that be Jalen Anderson, Dior Hubbard, Travion Dunbar. Somebody's got to obviously step up. But if you take CJ out of it, you lose that physicality. You're not – Jaheim White, as good as a running back as he is, he's just not that guy. That's not his style. And I think we kind of saw that a little bit in the bowl game, where you don't really have that hammer that you can just pound you. And even though he only had 5 carries, CJ only had 5 carries against Cincinnati, he had 5 carries against Baylor. But again, if you take him completely out of it, he doesn't play at all like he did in the bowl game, it's going to change things. Jaheim White was still good, but he wasn't what he was against Cincinnati or even Baylor, even when CJ just had a handful of carries. And I'm not saying that's going to make a huge, huge difference just to 5 carries, but I'm telling you now, just the threat of it, just the thought of it is going to drive defensive coordinators crazy to have to deal with those 3 guys, Garrett, CJ, and Jaheim. These 2 in particular, Jaheim and CJ, I mean, I don't think I'm going out too far on a limb here and saying they could easily be the best running back tandem in the Big 12. And maybe the top 5 or so in college football. There's a lot of good ones out there. But this offense, this team's potential will go through the roof if CJ Donaldson is healthy. The dude's 6'2", 240, 235 pounds, playing running back. No one wants to tackle him. Would you? I know I wouldn't. And then as soon as you get worn down from CJ Donaldson, pounding it in between the tackles, time and time and time again, now everything changes. You throw Jaheim out there as a changeup. Now you got to get fast. And once Jaheim wears you down, you get tired, hands on head and hips and knees and whatever. Here comes CJ. You have no energy. This offense is going to be so fun to watch. I truly believe it. CJ Donaldson, I think, will have an 1,000-yard season, the first since Letty Brown. And I think Jaheim White could be not too far behind him. This is going to be a run-heavy attack. They will throw the ball. They're going to air it out a little bit. But the potential of this running game, especially with what Matt Moore has done with those fellas up front, it's going to be an art. It really is. So let's see if CJ can stay healthy this offseason, get through spring ball. I don't expect him to probably play that much or seek that much contact in spring ball. They may just keep him in limited capacity, which would probably be a smart thing before revving him up or ramping him up in fall camp. So let me know your thoughts on the Mountaineer backfield, that duo of CJ Donaldson and Jaheim White. How good can they be? That'll wrap it up for me here today on Between the Ears. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now. Give us a like and a follow at the same handle on X. I'm Schuyler Callihan. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow morning.